Hello guys and welcome. In this video we'll be dealing with the Microsoft Excel 2016. So this video is more like an introduction to Microsoft Excel 2016. It's Mr. Malaji TE as usual. So if you are new to Microsoft Excel 2016, worry not, because in this video we'll be familiarizing ourselves with the elements that are contained in the Microsoft Excel 2016 and explaining what are they used for, and or rather how are they used. So in Microsoft Excel 2016 there are 9 Excel screen elements. So those elements consist of the workbook, the worksheet, the workbook contents, until the conditional formatting, right? So what we'll be focusing at is differentiating between a workbook and a worksheet in Microsoft Excel 2016, and looking at different workbook contents, that is the title bar, the quick access toolbar, the ribbon tabs, until the status, until the column headings, and what are they used for. So we'll be explaining in detail what are those and what are they used for. Number 3, we'll be discussing on how to insert or delete a worksheet, how to rename a worksheet, how to use fonts in Microsoft Excel 2016, how to assign names to cells, and what are cells references, absolute and relative cell references. Then we'll be looking at the basic Excel functions, and lastly we'll be looking at the conditional formatting, right? Okay, firstly we have to explain what is a workbook and how does it differ to a worksheet. So a workbook is a collection, or is a document that contains of different worksheets. So what do I mean with that is that when you first open Microsoft Excel 2016, you will see that you will have to select open a workbook, right? So a workbook is a document that you will be working on, right? That will be consisting of different worksheets. Those you will be performing your work or entering data on. So what is a worksheet? A worksheet, you can find them at the top, at the left bottom there. You can see now we are on sheet 1, and you can open another sheet as sheet 2, right? A sheet is a page or a section in a workbook that you will be dealing or working or inserting your data on. So a workbook in a nutshell is just a collection of the worksheets that you will be working on Microsoft Excel 2016. And what are the workbook contents? These things that you can see in Microsoft Excel 2016. So what you have to do, you have to familiarize yourself with whatever that is contained in Microsoft Excel 2016, so that you'll be more knowledgeable with Microsoft Excel 2016. So firstly we have to explain what is a title bar. A title bar is that tab there that contains of save, undo, redo, and the quick access toolbar, right? So what is a quick access toolbar? Okay, save, you know that when you are done with working on a document on Excel, you can go to save, and you can undo if you did a mistake and you want to go back, so you can click on undo. And if you deleted something by mistake, you can go to redo the original thing, right? So the quick access toolbar is what contains of the elements of Excel that you want to access quickly, so right? So if you want to open a new workbook, you will go there and open new, right? So if you want to, what do we call those elements under the quick access toolbar? We call them the commands, right? So adding the commands, you can go to more commands and add more commands to the quick access toolbar. And we have again the quick access toolbar. We already explained that is that four elements on the title bar. So we call those the quick access toolbar. And the ribbon tabs. What are the ribbon tabs? These tabs are that contains of file until the power pivot. We call them the ribbon tabs. If you can just click on a ribbon tab, you can see that there pops a little screen under the ribbon tab. So what do we call those? We call those the ribbons. What are the ribbons? The ribbons are the things that you'll be using to insert your information in a worksheet. Then we have groups. What are groups? Groups are groups classify the ribbons in according to their job or specific function, right? So if you can just see, we have different group from clipboard, font, alignment, styles. So if maybe you want to change a format of a title or an information that you have inserted, you will go to font and you can change the font type. You can see there, you can change the font size, you can change the font color, right? Yeah, so we call those the groups. So if you can click on insert, you will see that we have groups again, groups of charts, tours, page layout again. We have groups for themes. If you want to modify your workbook, your worksheet, you will go to themes, the page setup, how to set up a sheet. Then we have the actives, the name box. What is a name box now? A name box is this box at the top left corner. So what is a name box used for? So a name box is, it describes or it gives a name to a specific cell or column, right? So you can see now that an active cell is A1. So in other sense, we have already explained what is an active cell. An active cell is what you have highlighted with what is being highlighted currently in a worksheet, right? So we call that an active cell. So the name box is that at top right corner there. So a name box is used to give a certain name to a box. So if, let's say for example, we want to type 14% in A1, so we will type 14% and we want to call that VET. So we can go there and type VET, and it is used for conveniences purposes, because let's say for example we want to calculate the VET of VET on 1.2 in column F3, right? We want to calculate 14% of that, but we just want to use what we typed, the name box and the cell reference, right? So you will type equal to, and then you will click on C3 and multiply by VET. So you can see that you calculated VET just like that by using the name box, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and explain. We already explained what is an active cell and worksheet views. Worksheet views, you can find them at the top left corner there. So these three are called the worksheet views. They if you can just click on the page layout, is the structure or how the worksheet will appear on a certain view, right? So those are just the views. And then what is a mouse printer in Microsoft Excel 2016? A mouse printer is just the cursor. So you can see that we have a little cross on the screen there. So that cross, this moving cross, we call that a mouse pointer. So we have a formula bar again. What is a formula bar? A formula bar is this column up there. We call that a formula bar because we use that to calculate to do our calculations in Microsoft Excel 2016. So let's say, for example, we want to add 1.2 and 1.68, right, in E3. So you can just type equal to and go to the formula and select sum and okay. So it will sum that the two. So you can just select on C3 and number 2 you can select on CF3 and then you can just click on enter. So you can see that it added the two using the formula bar. Then a status bar. What is a status bar in Microsoft Excel 2016? A status bar is just this mode at the bottom left there. We call that a status bar. And a column headings are just, you know that if I select this, we call that the vertical line, we call that a column, right? And I mean the vertical line, we call them a column, right? And horizontal line, we call that a row, right? So column headings just means those A, B, C, D there are just the column headings, and the 1, 2, 3 on the top, on the left side, we call those the row numbers. And how do we insert a worksheet? We have differentiated between a worksheet and a workbook, right? We said that a workbook is a collection of worksheets. So how do we insert a worksheet in a workbook? Inserting a worksheet, you can just click on the cross there to insert a worksheet, right? And deleting a worksheet, you can just right click on your mouse and select delete. How do you rename a worksheet? You can see now that we have sheet 1 and sheet 2. Let's say, for example, this sheet we use it for calculations. So you can right click and go to rename, backspace, then you can type calculations. Then you want to name sheet 2 maybe to information. You can right click and go to rename, then backspace. You can type information, right? So what are the fonts? I think we have talked about those. So the fonts is how you want your information to look like, or what you have inserted there, the information that you have typed there. Let's say, for example, you type marks, and we want that to be a little bit interesting or fascinating to another people. So you can select how you want it to appear. Under the home tab, you can select whichever you like, and you can bold it, you can make it to be italic, and you can underline it. You can also change its color, right? So those are the fonts, using the fonts in Microsoft Excel 2016. So assigning names to cells. How do you assign a name to a cell? We know that a cell is this column that we call it a cell, right? Rather a column member that we call it a cell. So how do you assign a name to that column? We did that example. So let's just do it again. Let's type 14%. So if you want to rename this cell, you can see now that we rename this cell in a name box, right? So you can see it's A2 now. You can rename it to vet. So you have renamed that cell. And the cell references. Cell references, we have absolute cell references and relative cell references. I won't touch much on that because we will do more examples in the following videos dealing with the absolute and relative cell references. Right, so just click on the subscribe button below so that you'll benefit from more videos to come. Cell references, you just have to know that using a cell reference, you just type the information contained in one cell in another cell by just using the cell reference. Like for example, we will use this. Let's say we want to type 1.2, this 1.2 in B8 there, right? So you can just click on equal to and click on top of C3, click on enter. So you see that we did not have to type that manually there. So we just use the name, the cell reference. So that is the function of cell reference. So the basic Excel functions, we'll just go over the functions that are used in Microsoft. So the functions are used to perform calculations in Microsoft Excel 2016. You know that in Microsoft Excel 2016 you can perform different calculations by not using a calculator or something like that. So what we did there, by adding the two columns, we used a function that is a sum, right? So in Microsoft Excel we have functions like sum, depreciation functions. When you want to calculate depreciation in Microsoft Excel 2016, the median, when you want to find the middle number, using count if, count maximum, right? So tune into more videos, we'll be dealing with those functions. So if you want to calculate something using a function, you will go to FX there. It represents the functions in Microsoft Excel 2016. And conditional formatting, now you can find that in home. Conditional formatting, just the rules that you will be using. Let's say for example you have the marks, you have typed the marks on your worksheet and you wanted to highlight only the people who have got distinctions or things like that. So you use rules like greater than, less than, equal to, things like that. So if for example we have marks like let's say for example we have, let's use an example there. Let's type marks and we type 50, 70, 80 and 90. So using the conditional formatting, we'll highlight from F11 to F14 and go to home tab. Remember, the conditional formatting, you can find it under home tab and under the conditional formatting. Then you can click on greater than. So let's say for example we want only the marks above 70 to be highlighted, right? And then you click on OK. So what we did there, we just conditional formatting, greater than. So you can see that we want the information, the marks above 70 to be highlighted with red, dark red text, right? So yeah, only the information above 80 will be highlighted there. So that's using the conditional formatting. So you can click on the subscribe button below if you haven't, and wait for more beneficial videos, because this one was just an introduction to Microsoft Office. Thank you.